Dirt roads to rock crawling, two-buck chuck to screaming eagle, moonshine to 50-year-old single malt. We talk about it all here on Wheelin' Wine and Whiskey with your hosts, Jason and Chris.
Welcome to the Wheeling Wine and Whiskey Podcast, episode 181.
Man, we're getting closer
Holy
and closer
smokes.
to 200.
Are we really? This
20
is silly.
20 away.
Over 3 years
I know.
of podcasting, talking into mics. You know how many hours we've wasted of our lives talking into mics here? But there's some people that enjoy it. So those of you that
People
are
like
enjoying
us.
it,
They
thank
really,
you.
really like
Thank
us.
you. Okay, Stuart Smalley. Smalley?
That's Sally Fields. What are you talking about?
Oh, that too? No, it was...
They love us. They really love us.
No, that was that Saturday Night Live skit.
I know. That's based on Sally Fields from the
Oh,
Academy
yes, it
Awards.
was. Yes, very
Come
good.
on, man.
Come on, man.
Come on, man.
Come on, man. All right, so Trail Hero 2022 just keeps going.
Jeez, we're going to keep talking
There's
about
so
this
much
thing.
content.
Jesus.
I was working my ass off there. Lorenzo even said I was working my ass off. And coming from an ass, that's
Well,
pretty good.
Well,
I will take
Lorenzo worked his ass so hard he's not even an ass anymore.
that. Well, yeah. So
He's assless.
this interview I had been trying to get since last year. I handed a card to this kid. He is a kid, Jacob Reeves. And I go, hey, I want to get you on the podcast. Okay, great. And then, a year goes by and here we are, Trail Hero 2022. And I said, okay, we got to make this happen. So we did. Finally got him, and he had to go through LCQ as well, just like Dave Wong,
Sure.
to make it into Trailbreaker. And he was the last one to compete. Here we are again, like a little fucking fairy tale, right? He goes in, and these drivers cannot watch other drivers compete. So they don't know if they're dropping into obstacles backwards. And when I say obstacles, they're dropping their car off a freaking cliff.
Sure.
Okay.
Well, that's
down
how I
into no
always
man's
drive.
land.
Yeah.
Okay. Whether they're going in forward or backwards to set up for the next line/gate. And Jacob Reeves was the only one to come into this one gate forward. Everybody else dropped in backwards.
Really?
And he came in forward on the second gate and frickin' made this hard left up this ridiculous trench. And he was the fastest one. He did it in under 5 minutes. You had 15 minutes to complete this course. And he did it in under 5. Ooh. And he was the last one to compete and just blew the field away.
Was it really not Crazy Dan or what?
Yeah. No, just super smooth and just, he picked the right lines. He knew his car. He knew where he needed to stick it and get the traction that he needed to get up over these obstacles. And it was super impressive to watch and just blew the field away. So that was Trailbreaker LCQ.
Right.
And so that got him in, obviously, number one. I think they took 5 from that event. So that put him in for Trailbreaker 2022, which was, epic. That's what your goal is, right? You want to compete with the top dogs.
And there's what, 10 drivers that go to
10 drivers competed in the or in the main Trailbreaker, I should say. The one caveat was Michael
Bolton.
Yeah, Michael Bolton. You've heard of him? Yeah. Bassini. He unfortunately family member passed away. He could not attend the actual Trailbreaker, but he qualified, so they automatically put him into a spot for the next year.
Oh, that's cool.
That's super cool. So anyways, there was 10 people competing, but Jacob's young kid, he's a fabricator. He works on his own, junk, as Shannon Campbell says,
right.
And makes it happen. So I was excited to finally sit down with him and get this interview. So you want to hear it? Since you weren't
do.
there, Chris, you want to hear it?
You keep rubbing that in. No, I was not there.
You weren't there.
Some of us have to work for a
Well,
living.
that's all right, but you should have been there.
I should have been there. Plan is to be there next year. So
Okay.
building vacation.
All right.
But let's listen to this interview that you did and you're so proud of.
I am proud of.
Well, there you go.
I like it.
Boom.
All right. Here at Trail Hero 2022, I don't even know what day it is. It seems like I've been here for over a week, and it's been great. Just got done with the amateur rock crawl and mentored by all these awesome rock crawlers that we follow on IG. And one of them is here with us now, Jacob Reeves from Blind Squirrel Racing. How are you doing, Jacob?
It's a beautiful day, and I'm happy to be here.
Right on. Yeah. So you were out there at that amateur rock crawl watching all these noobs trying to negotiate their junk around these cones, huh? What'd you think of that?
It's awesome. I love it. It's good to get some new blood into the sport and just throw your junk around and see how it goes. It's awesome. I love it.
That's what we did. We threw our junk around, and it went okay. It went okay. We didn't go over on the lid. That was my goal this morning, was not to put him on his lid. We had him on the side, Samurai James, but we didn't put him on the lid. So that was good. Put on a good show. Lots of fun. So you're young. How old are you?
I am 19.
19. So you're just getting into the sport too, right? What's your background? You've been
sort of. Yes.
Yeah, right. Here we go. Let's hear how you got into all this.
My parents have been off-road motorcycles, that sort of thing, for a long time. My dad rode motorcycles his whole life. Switched to four-wheel drive stuff early 2000s, late 90s, somewhere in there.
Okay.
Moved to Arizona. Of course, a lot of you guys know Arizona is some of the best rock crawling out there. I've been born and raised in Lake Havasu. That's my hometown.
Okay.
And there's tons of stuff there. That's where I build all my cars right now. I started driving four-wheel drive stuff. I drove a stick shift Bronco when I was 5 or 6.
Nice.
I wheeled Moab when I was 8 and started competing at 12.
Holy crap. What year Bronco was it?
68.
Oh.
So, funny thing, that's sitting in my garage, fully restored. I fully did a frame-off restoration on it a couple years ago. It's sitting in my garage.
No way.
Yep.
That's. I remember seeing some pictures of that now on your IG. Yes.
Yep.
Love those old Broncos. Very classic. That's
Yep.
cool. Was
They're
it
awesome.
302 in it? Or?
It's 351.
Oh, 351.
Yeah.
Windsor, huh?
Yep. It barely fits in there, but it does.
Okay. So that's got to be a fun ride.
Yeah, it's fun enough where it blew second gear out of the transmission and I haven't fixed it yet.
There you go.
So,
Okay.
it's got plenty to go. And
Now-
the brakes are horrible. They're all original.
Right. So is that your around town rig, or you don't wheel that, do you?
No.
Yeah.
I'll take it off road and go fart around on dirt roads
Okay.
or whatever, but it's still broken in my garage. It's
Okay.
been sitting there broken since March.
All right. Well, you had other priorities there.
Yeah, I
getting
had a
your
really
car
busy
back
summer.
together.
I built 2 cars this year.
2. That's right.
Yeah.
So you built Caitlin's car.
Yep.
Finished that up, right?
Yeah,
So that
we-
was fairly recently.
Finished that up in May, I think.
Okay.
Somewhere in there, and they got second or third place at the first event, Cedar.
Yep.
At the We Rock. Literally jumped in it and kicked everyone's asses. It was great.
Yeah.
It was awesome.
Yeah, and I saw her out there today, and I go, "Oh, cool, you mentoring?" And she goes, "Oh no, I'm competing." And I go, "What the hell? I thought this was amateur rock crawl. I mean, what's going on here?" James and I were like, "This ain't right. We got veterans here wheeling with us." But anyways, it was all fun and games today.
Yep.
It was fun. She put it on the lid.
Yep.
That
She
was-
did.
Yeah. And but she worked it pretty good on some of those obstacles too. That last one where she got hung up on that ledge, and she kept hammering it, and finally it stuck, and was able to get some traction
Yep.
to get down.
Yeah, and technique is everything, and there's some tricks and stuff like that, which is what I taught a lot of people today. So
Right.
It was awesome.
Right. Yeah, that's cool. Okay, so you got so you've basically been driving around and stuff at 5, and then I guess 12, 13-ish, you started getting into some wheeling stuff and
Yeah, competitive
serious-
rock crawling.
Yeah, competitive rock crawling, and then there was a 10-year-old out there today. So I mean, it's just crazy. All these young kids getting into this. I love it.
Yeah, it's awesome.
So Blind Squirrel Racing. Where did that name come from? How did that? Has that been part of in the family for a long time? I got to imagine there's a story behind all
there's
that.
a story
Yeah.
behind it. So Parker, Arizona, which is 45 minutes from our house, there's a couple big trail events out there, Desert Storm and Parker Splash. What I don't remember is which one of those two it was. This had to have been 2010
Okay.
when this whole thing kind of started, and it was campfire talk.
Yeah.
Good friend of ours, Vince, if he's listening, he'll love this story, and he knows it. Got himself stuck in a sand wash, both front and rear diffs stuck on rocks, and was stuck there and had to winch him out of a sand wash. So around the fire, we named him the Blind Squirrel.
There you go.
That's how that all started. And then, of course, around the fire, we're going to race KOH next year, and of course we didn't.
Sure.
It took a while for that to happen, but it started as a joke, and then we're like, when my dad was like, you want to go compete, let's use that name. And it stuck, and it's been with us ever since.
That's great. Where all good stories come from is around the campfire at night after a good day of wheeling.
Yep.
What? And then the logo. The logo is this squirrel with glasses, dark shades on, and in a straitjacket, right?
Yep.
Okay, so who came up with that logo?
That's our good friend Dave. He's our logo designer too.
Okay.
And I don't know what inspired it. I'll have to ask him. I never asked him what inspired that.
Right.
But I think it fits great.
It is. It's a very cool. I love those cartoony type logos. And then when you're like, oh, Blind Squirrel Racing. Okay, it's got dark glasses on. Okay, I get that. But then you look close and it's in a straitjacket, and it's like, okay, it's a crazy blind squirrel.
Yeah.
And some of the stuff that you guys do is definitely crazy insane. So it's very fitting.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, watching you a couple days ago here at the LCQ for Trailbreaker, and you were the last one to compete, and so you were sitting in this tent for
almost
2.5
hours.
4 hours.
I don't remember when I ran, but I feel like it was a minimum 3 hours.
Yeah, that sounds that 3. It was definitely over 3 hours because the event started at 2, and I think the event was over at like 5:30 or so. So you were the last one to run, and your run was like just under 5 minutes.
Yep, 4 minutes 52 seconds.
You had 15 minutes to complete the course.
Yes.
And you did it in under 5, and I think the closest person was somewhere around 8.5 minutes or something.
Yeah, something like that.
That was the fastest at that point. And only 5-6 made it across the whole course, the line, I believe. 6, yeah. So just to get everybody up to speed, what the LCQ is so at Trail Hero, they have a huge the Trail Breaker event, and it is the best of the best rock crawling to the absolute extreme. I mean, stuff that you look at and you go, there's no way a vehicle's going to be able to climb that or negotiate that obstacle. And you guys just, like I told somebody, I said, you made that course look like your bitch, man. You just freaking went right through. And you were the only person to drive forward on that second gate, I guess.
Yep.
Everybody was backing down it into this huge trench and working their rear steer and stuff, and you freaking drove down forward and was able to get your car to turn on a dime and shoot right up and then out the gate for the finish. So talk about that a little bit. So when you're sitting there and you hear the crowd cheering or ooh, ah, and then when somebody rolled over or whatever and recovery's going on, and I know Glenn Plague, the announcers, and the other guy's name is escaping me right now.
Tacoma White.
Thank you.
Can't forget him.
Yeah, I can't forget Tacoma White. So they're trying not to give you any clues of what's going on or some line that they took or anything, but you're sitting in this tent just going, okay, what's going through your mind? And did you get to see the course before, right? You got to see it before. Okay, so you walked it before, so you kind of had an idea already conjured up of what you were going to do, and then all these competitors go, and you're the last one sitting in the tent, and then here you go. So just kind of walk me through that thought process and how you approached that course.
So I had walked it a few days earlier, and there was none of the pennants were up, none of the flags, or there was a couple flags up. So I had a general idea of the course, wasn't sure direction and that sort of stuff. But I walked it once, and then I walked it the day of, and then went and sat in a tent for 3.5 hours.
Oh God. And then so you got in your car, and then you have no idea where anybody's placed or who finished, who didn't.
So we know who finished.
Okay, you do.
Yeah.
You didn't know that. Okay.
Yeah. So we know that there's been a couple people that finished. At that point, it was 5 people.
Okay.
So and you can usually tell by the crowd.
Right. Oh sure.
So, there's some hints to that, but that's about it.
Yeah. Okay. And they took 7 drivers? They were taking 7? So yeah, you started down that course, and there was a huge drop off into the ravine, and then had to get underneath this ledge. Everybody was banging their roofs on that ledge.
Yep.
But I think you made it through clean.
Yep.
I don't remember seeing you hit that roof there, and then you had to make this hard left turn up this frickin' wall, and you were able to pretty much one-shot that whole thing, right?
Yep.
Yeah. I mean, and there was some badass drivers there just steering the hell out of their vehicles, twisting it up, binding it up, and then once they got in position and got on the wall, they were able to clean it pretty clear it pretty clean. But man, and then some of them had to go abandon ship and then go up, turn around, and then hit it from the other direction, which was even harder because the way it had this angled face to it. It kept pushing the front end, washing the front end out.
Yep.
And so you avoided all that mess, and then, like I say, you dropped straight down in that other line, the cones there, and then negotiated. I mean, it was impressive to watch, man. It was super cool. So what? I mean, you've been doing this for a little while now. You just finished building this car, putting it together.
Yeah.
It's a Jesse Haynes chassis. So talk about your car a little bit, and maybe some of the cool things that you've done to it that you want to share.
This is a Jesse Haynes fab moon buggy chassis. It was originally a 3-link Gen 1 car.
Okay.
That I cut the front of it off and converted it to 4-link, put all the mounts on, redid some tube work, and it is now a 4-link car with a 4-link front housing, and so it's up to par with the modern chassis.
Okay.
And it does not have that low roof line, so I can run a suspension seat, which I want. I don't like Kirkis.
Oh,
they suck.
Okay.
At least for this, they're uncomfortable.
Yeah.
My last car had it, and I hated it.
Yeah.
This is a Ford-powered car, so it's out of a 2017 Mustang, 2.3 EcoBoost. Makes 310 horse, 365 foot-pounds of torque.
Wow.
Bone stock. Only thing I've done to it is a dry sump and obviously an exhaust because I don't have room to run a stock exhaust and cats and all that stuff.
Right.
904 trans, flip 300, portals, Toyota 8s. I mean, it's aside from motor and trans combo, it's fairly cookie cutter.
Okay.
But I'm super happy with the power plant so far. This is the first time I've used it and first time in a rear engine car. So
and then so that EcoBoost. And you're running a dry sump on it. How hard was it did you have to custom make some stuff for the dry sump? Or
so
did they make something for that?
It's a kit.
Okay.
It was sourced, I think it's made here in the U.S. or might be in Europe. A lot of these motors are super popular over there.
Okay.
So typically, a lot of people actually import the dry sumps from there because the company that I dealt with is a pain in the ass. Never doing it again. They told me 2 weeks and it was 4 months.
Oh.
And I need to rush build this car because I didn't have anything, and I ended up missing basically the full season.
Yeah. You didn't make it to Cedar City, or you?
No, I spotted for my dad.
Okay.
But I didn't get it together until Nationals.
Okay.
So, because I was waiting on that dry sump so I built a custom adapter to run that trans.
Okay.
That's the only thing I was waiting on for 4 months, and it just sat there collecting dust. I had all these parts, all the money out, and 4 months went by waiting for this dry sump.
It was frustrating.
So frustrating. And, halfway through, they started not answering my calls, emails, just ghosted me. I couldn't get a hold of anyone. I'm like, oh, God. I sent them cash, too.
Oh, no way.
Yep. Because I sold my last trail car to fund this.
Okay.
Because I don't have that money sitting in the bank to just throw at another car.
Sure. You're not Cody Wagner.
No, I'm not. And so I sold that car and bought all this stuff from Steve Nance. He had everything there because I couldn't get anything in time. Well, in hindsight, I could have because I was waiting on the dry sump, but I never would have thought that would have been such a nightmare.
Right.
So I ended up getting all this stuff from Steve. I had everything in my hands. I did all the chassis reworking.
Okay.
Within the week I got it, and it was welded up and ready to go.
Really?
And then it just sat
just
there.
Waiting for parts.
Yeah, so once everything came in, I was 5 to 6 weeks from bare chassis to running.
Jeez. It's this whole COVID thing, people are still using it as an excuse. Oh, COVID this, COVID that, and it's like, oh yeah, we're behind, and it's like, oh my gosh, people just
and I don't know what was going on, but I mean, a straight answer, if you would have said 4 months from the start, I would have said, okay, whatever,
thanks.
Just get it ordered.
Yeah,
I'll either see if someone else has it, and I did that a little bit because I wasn't happy with 2 weeks.
No.
Because I wanted it before then.
Right.
But everyone I found online that were retailers for it, they would just order direct from them.
Really?
Whenever someone would place an order, they wouldn't stock them because it's like a $3,000 kit.
Wow.
So, I mean, and I understand why they don't want to just stock that.
Sure.
So, I ended up waiting that 4 months and just sat there twiddling my thumbs, and then, so because I didn't have a car, that whole thing fell apart. I built that car for Kevin and Caitlin.
Yeah.
After I sold my trail car, and then I took on that project because I thought I had a car for the next season. So then I had filled up my calendar with another car to build, it worked out great. But luckily things were behind. I knocked that car out, and then I had a couple months of just still sitting around waiting for parts for my car.
Oh my gosh.
So frustrating.
Yeah, it's I hate it when that stuff's out of your control, but what are you going to do,
Yeah, it's frustrating.
Yeah, just got to, once it comes in, get it in and just run the hell out of it, and that's what you've done.
Yeah. Yeah, I literally did not sleep for that 5 or 6 weeks. Like, it was like 9 a.m. to 3 a.m. And just like for that straight time.
Yeah.
I took 1 weekend off, and that was it.
Okay.
It was towards the end, I'm like, okay, I need to at least get some sleep.
Right.
And, like, catch up a little bit.
Right.
And I was also waiting on a couple things to button it up. A couple little things, of course.
Okay.
So it wasn't a big deal that I took it off anyway. But yeah, it was frustrating how it all went down, and then I couldn't get anything in my hands to build it for the new one. I'm like, oh my God, everything fell apart within like a month.
Yeah.
So,
well, unfortunately, that's life. You're going to learn. That
Yep.
happens more often than you want it to, but
Yeah,
it is what it is, and just got to motor on. But you came back out here and kicked some ass, so that's good.
Yeah.
So, lockers, did you mention what lockers you have? Are you running air lockers or anything?
Yeah,
or
it's
just...
Yukon Air Lockers.
Yeah, okay.
So Yukon is a sponsor of mine. I'm running their complete center sections.
Okay.
So the third members, lockers, ring gears, I mean, everything came from them.
Okay, perfect.
So it's complete Yukon centers, and I'm running just brass air switches. I don't like the solenoids. They tend to go bad, and they're a pain. So I just did brass air switches, and I had them in my last car. They held up great.
There you go.
So keep it simple.
It works, yeah. Yeah, it's cool looking at your car and just see it. It's like anything that doesn't need to be there is not there. It's all everything's functional. It got to function. And trying to keep what's the weight of your car?
So it is 2,866 pounds.
Okay.
With no water or lead shot.
Okay.
So, and I've got 600 pounds of water and lead in the front tires.
Wow. Okay.
So each tire is 450 pounds. So I mean, it's a nightmare trying to wrestle these tires off.
Yeah.
Like, you cannot pick them up.
No.
And to get them back on, you raise the car to the right height and you wiggle it on there.
You need a forklift.
Oh my God! Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be nice.
A friend of mine used a pallet jack.
Oh, that's a good idea.
Yeah,
pallet jack.
I don't have the room for one right now, but and I have a forklift too.
Okay.
But yeah, it's just a nightmare. Like, but you need to on these cars being rear engine. You still need that front bias
to plant them on. Well, it definitely works. So going in, so tomorrow is Trailbreaker, and there's I know. So Michael Brassanini has to. Unfortunately, he's got to fly out for a funeral.
Yep.
So that opened up a spot, but what they're doing is allowing him a guaranteed spot next year.
Oh, I did not know that.
Yeah,
that's
so
awesome.
that's cool. I heard Rich say that. So he's got. Since he can't compete this year, he's got a guaranteed spot for next year.
That's awesome.
So I think that was the right thing to do in these circumstances, right? So there's how many people are competing then? 14?
No, I think there's 10.
Oh, it's 10, yes.
So 10, I think there's 11 including Michael.
Right, okay.
But I'm pretty sure that's right because I think there's 3 previous winners that are here this week, and then the two East Coast Series winners from We Rock and I think X Rock is over there.
Okay.
I don't know. And then the 5 LCQs, so there's 10.
Yep. Okay, there you go. So same thing. You got to sit in a tent, and then they're going to randomly draw an order that you're going to go in. Is it better to be towards the front or back, or what do you feel?
It can go either way. I want to run first just so I can get out of the way.
Uh-huh.
Like, I can run every course back to back, and I'm done in ideally less than 45 minutes.
Okay.
So, I mean, as far as course getting torn up, I mean, it can go either way. I mean, there could be a rock that could be in your favor.
Right.
Or it can be in a bad spot, and if you're later on, it can move in your favor. So it can go either way.
So one thing I was observing that day, a couple days ago, is, I looked at it and there was hardly any tire tracks on these rocks, right? But then you were one of the last ones, so everybody's tires were burned in on these certain lines. So I know you've already probably got a line in your head when you approach the course, but then if you see tire tracks somewhere, I got to imagine you might maybe that works. Or
it would be a plan B or C.
Okay.
If it goes further down the line, just try everything you can.
Okay.
So,
all right.
And, tire tracks are a good idea of where people have gone, but typically if there's none above it, it hasn't really worked.
Right.
Got to pay attention to those.
If you see them stop, that's not a good place to go.
Yeah.
And that happens a lot out here at Trail Hero when we're just wreck wheeling. I got on one trail the other day and the tire tracks just stopped. I'm like, okay, this isn't good.
Yeah.
So this competition thing is super cool, super super technical, and there's a time factor involved as well. So it's not only are you negotiating all these hard obstacles and terrain and gates, the fastest one that completes the course and cleanly.
Yep.
So there's 10 points if you hit a cone.
No, so
trail break's nothing. Okay,
correct.
So trail breaker is just completing the course,
and whoever the fastest time through the 3 courses wins.
Okay.
So let's say someone doesn't make it, or nobody makes one course. That's happened quite a few times.
Mm-hmm.
They just take the high mark.
Okay.
And so if a couple years ago I high marked it, but didn't finish a course, but still placed fairly well.
Okay.
So obviously that's not going to give you a win, but you'll still place well. So there's multiple different factors in that.
Okay.
And they typically only take high mark if nobody's finishing the courses.
Wow.
So,
Okay.
And it's happened quite a few times.
Yeah.
I know of 2 or 3 times. So
okay.
It happens.
So this is they've had the markers up and stuff over there by Double Sammy is where this is taking place tomorrow.
Yep.
So I'm sure you've walked it and already got a game plan and stuff in your head. So what do you think of the course this year as compared to the last couple years of the courses?
See, last year
was a little wet.
Oh my god,
That was terrible.
I think the potential for consequence is bigger this year.
Okay.
Depending on the line you take. You don't have to if you don't want to. But there's options for multiple. So one set of flags has multiple options. You can go. There's probably 10 ways if you wanted to figure out 10 different ways.
Right.
So, it kind of goes to what your vehicle's capable of and what you want to do and what you want to put yourself in. I don't want to hang on the edge of this cliff, but if I have to, I will. So because I remember 2 years ago when Justin Kleiman, what's his name? Kyleman. Oh yeah,
I knew it
good
started
friend
with K. When he won, there was some gnarly stuff going on there, and he was hanging off the side of that cliff, and I'm like, I don't know if I'd ever want to do that.
Yeah, and you take the consequence away, it's no big deal. It's a mind game.
Right.
That is all it is.
Right.
And Little Rich, he's a good friend of mine. He is super evil like that because he knows it gets in people's heads. Because you fill that full of sand, people are like, oh yeah, no big deal. But you take all that away and you're still up there, people are going to start freaking out. They're going to either overthink it or maybe not even do it.
So what's your mindset? You're just focusing on your line? Obviously, but how do you overcome that?
Don't look.
Don't look. Don't look. I don't see it. It's not there if I don't see it.
And that's part of it. And I'm concentrating on staying away from that and on my line.
Sure.
If I get off my line, I don't want to be even closer. So I'm trying to stay on my line. And,
got it.
And I'm in such a tunnel vision that I typically don't even see it.
Okay.
In the car. Of course, watching it, I see. I'm like, wow.
Yeah.
That's really big. Don't go off there. So, but it's tunnel vision, and I typically don't hear anyone from the outside of the car anyway.
Perfect.
Even if they're right next to me.
You're so laser focused.
Yeah. And, helmet on, that car's loud too. So I typically do not hear anything. Unless someone's screaming at me right next to me.
Yeah.
But I typically do not hear anything.
Okay. All right. So you get nervous at all when you start these competitions? Is there a little bit of nerves?
Oh,
or you just don't, like the Man of Steel here and not even nervous?
So waiting for LCQ, I got really bad anxiety, which I've gotten with trail breakers in the past, but typically I've ran mid-pack or, last couple of times I've been towards the back.
Okay.
But you just got to work through it, and I just I just walk around and walk in circles, or I carved a bowl and a rock because I was just rubbing two rocks together to get my mind off of stuff. But I do get nervous. But as soon as the helmet goes on, I'm just
game
back
face
in.
is on and you're ready to go.
Yeah, I'm ready to go fuck some shit up.
All right, there you go. Nice. Definitely, yeah. Because you were, I was watching, and man, it was just like on a mission. I mean, it was.
Yep.
And then there was, and I mean, most of the drivers were like that, but it was just kind of like just out a day of wheeling, and it was like, I mean, they were focused, but it was just you were on a mission. It just seemed like you came out hot and on a mission, which was fun to watch. So Trailbreaker starts at 2:00 tomorrow?
Yep.
Okay. So looking forward to that. Weather looks like it's going to be great this year.
Yeah, I hopefully none of that R word.
No R,
I don't need
no
any
W.
repeats of last year.
No, that was a whole different animal, man. It was a disaster, and unfortunately, we can't control Mother Nature. But the weather here's been great. I mean,
it's been an awesome week.
Yeah, really awesome. Has, and a ton of people. Now, have you been doing? I know you were out doing some trail wheeling a few days ago, working the car in a little bit, or?
Oh yeah, I've been here since today, Thursday.
Today's Thursday.
So I've been here since last Friday. I had been there for a week.
Okay.
So I've been here for almost 2 weeks.
Okay.
My parents own a house here, so I just crashed at the house.
Perfect.
I'm 20 minutes away. I come wheel for a couple hours, go back home, wrench on my car because I keep yard selling it.
Yeah, I heard you broke something here recently.
Oh my God!
What happened there?
I rolled off this big climb. It was like 12 foot to the bottom.
Oh boy!
And the front end too. So I've got a ton of weight up there. Came down on the driver front corner and bent a spindle, bent a rotor, bent the caliper or the rotor adapter, bent my wheel, cracked the link mount, cracked the steering arm, and I got it all fixed in a day. And I had new parts coming in from Colorado, so I swapped out another spindle for, it may have been new old stock or something that was at least reconditioned.
Okay.
The one I had in there had twisted splines. I'm like, okay, I just need to get something in there for
holy smokes
for the time being, so I can go drive it around if I need to.
Right.
And yeah, it was a disaster. But you got to do that, and it's been done for a month now, and I've already rolled it. So. That's how I know I'm pushing it. Maybe a little too hard.
Right.
Live and learn.
So when you go out, I mean, you got to push your limits though to learn and see what the car's doing, especially new to you, I guess. What you've done right. So and even with all your experience, I mean, each car handles a little differently. I got to imagine.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, this car is similar to my last one, but it handles stuff very differently.
I
mean, even though it's the same chassis, same trans and T-case combo, it still does things way differently, which is it. I don't know what it is, but a lot of these cars work really well. Some of them not so much, even though they're the same chassis. People just build them differently.
Yeah.
So I'm happy with it so far.
And shock packages and all that stuff, right? Air. Yeah. Most of you guys run air.
Yeah, but tuning is different. Tuning has a huge effect on these cars.
Sure.
And we can't make the ORIs work because they're too light.
Okay.
And being awesome. I had them on my trail car. I loved them, and they're just too light. You can't get them to work well. By the time you get them to stop unloading, they just don't ride worth a damn.
Really?
I mean, not that my air shocks ride well.
Right.
I damn near bursted a kidney coming over here.
Yeah, through the sand dune.
Yeah,
We're bringing you through the sand, all the washboard.
Yeah. They just ride like shit.
Well, that's the Samurai James. I'm riding back with him, and he's like, "Oh, we lost him," and I go, "No, he's coming." I said, "They just don't go fast. I mean, they're not designed to go fast, and especially in sandy washboard.
Yeah, it's miserable.
It's a different. It's such a specific built, car for that ridiculous terrain, and it does awesome in that, but it doesn't do well.
Yeah, anything else, it's really shitty. Like they're not great trail cars. Like,
right.
My toolkit was like a 25-piece Cobalt toolkit ratchet strapped to my center console. So I had something. And that was it. I had a Camelback clip to my tube. And that was it.
That was it.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
And it carries 4 gallons of gas.
Yeah, that's the other thing is you don't.
And this motor's super efficient. Like I haven't run out of gas yet.
Really?
Yeah. Like
wow.
I've wheeled a full day on the trail and I've had like half a tank left.
That's impressive.
And obviously, it's mostly just idling around. If you're shooting walls and being stupid, it's going to go down way faster. But I was really impressed with how it it consumes fuel.
Okay.
So, and I was running it actually on 100 octane.
Okay.
Because for Farmington, I was having tons of cooling issues. Couldn't keep it cool.
Oh, wow.
Like 5 minutes and it would overheat.
Uh-oh.
And I literally finished the car there. Like I finally got it to stay cool for like a full course, and it would stay cool enough for a full course. If you wheeled around for too long, it would start to overheat. But I made some changes when I got back, and it seems it's been great so far.
What was causing the heating issue?
The fan I had on there was super small. It was like a 1250 CFM.
Mm-hmm.
I had a shroud on it, which helped a lot, but it still wasn't enough. So I had gnarly, which is another one of my sponsors.
Yeah.
Good friend of ours too. They next day aired a radiator fan to a friend's house in Farmington. I opened the box and it's like nothing I'd managed. It's like not gonna fit.
Oh no.
So I hacked the shit out of this thing. Like I cut 3/4 of an inch off the height. Like there's plastic missing for tubes and transmissions.
Oh, no kidding.
It's like shoehorned in there. And it's like there's like 3/16 to my transmission, and like it's touching my outer tube right now.
Oh geez.
And I'm like, well, I mean, this is the only option I have at this
Right.
point. So that plus the avgas, and then plus the cooling modifications. Like earlier last week, I could not get it over 180 degrees.
Okay, so that all worked.
Yeah, so I'm actually back on I'm running a 91 and 100 octane mix right now. Because I
Okay.
have some 100 left, so I'm just mixing it.
Okay, there you go.
Ideally, I should have it tuned for 100, but and it worked great for the temps, which is all I was after.
Okay.
And for $6.75 a gallon, it
better work.
Yeah.
No kidding. Man, that's just so you get all the woo-pows out of that thing on.
Yeah.
It runs clean and
Yeah,
hot.
and this freaking motor's a powerhouse. I've never had, for any motor that matter, I've never had a motor be able to light 42s up on the asphalt with 600 pounds of lead shot in them.
That is
Like
impressive.
second gear, I can just light them up on the asphalt.
Really?
It is nuts.
And those are stickies, obviously. I mean,
Like
you're
not just chirp them, like leave stripes.
No way.
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah, it is nuts.
2,800-pound car with all the weight in the tires.
Yeah, and
stickies.
So that's a flip 300, so I can't go to rear only. So it's spinning the fronts that are full of weight, which is even more crazy to me. That's
That's impressive.
It is.
That's
I'm super
impressive.
happy with it right now.
Ford Power.
Yeah, and they're expensive, and the aftermarket's not there yet, but it's getting there, and the support's getting there. More people are using them, and it's super solid.
Well, that's cool. Well, I'm glad that's working out. Man.
Yeah,
that
and
sounds...
I had a lot of time in getting that adapter stuff to work, and this center of gravity on this car is one of the lowest out there.
Okay.
Jesse, his car might be just a touch lower, but my flex plate is 1/8 of an inch from my skid plate. I mean, I dropped it everything I could, and actually in Farmington, it ate part of my skid plate because my mounts failed, and it ate it's AR500. This flex plate ate the skid plate and like gouged the material out. I would have thought it would have eaten that flex plate, and it didn't.
Wow.
So it's got a little more now that it's self-clearance.
Well, there you go. It's self-clearancing. I
Yeah.
was just going to say, self-clearancing is
Yeah.
okay sometimes.
So, and I'm still running that same flex plate. It's still starting just fine. It literally just polished the tips.
Yeah, okay. Well, there you go.
So, yeah, I'm happy with it so far. And the dry sump is awesome. I don't have to worry about oil pressure unless I'm super dumb.
Right.
And that center of gravity is just stupid low.
Yeah. How many guys that you know of are running dry sump in their cars?
Not many.
Yeah. That's what's
so
surprising to me, because the angles that you guys are at.
Just mostly the reason it's not happening is either kits aren't available or the cost. Because, I mean, a lot of people can't justify to drop $3,000 on a dry sump.
Yeah.
Especially on one of those motors that's $4,000 to start with. So you got
You got $7,000 right there.
before your harness.
Yeah.
And the harness was $800, so
Okay.
it's not bad. But I mean, they're just expensive, and they're still new. So there's not a ton of them out there, but they started in 15.
Okay.
So and they're still running them even up, I think, into the next gen that just released. So I think Jesse is a good friend of mine. We've talked a lot about dry sumps and oiling and that sort of stuff. I think he did a makeshift dry sump. It's not totally dry sump. It's not totally wet sump.
Okay.
I don't remember.
Hybrid.
Yeah, I don't remember the extent of it, but he's running something similar. couple other cars ran dry sumps, but I think a lot of it is due to just cost.
Okay.
And I mean, we have a lot into these cars regardless. So I mean, that extra $3,000 is a big deal.
Well, yeah, and I mean, like I say, some of these angles that this motor lives at is pretty wild.
Yeah.
So it surprises me how many dry sumps I don't see actually on these cars. You know.
Yeah.
And
exactly.
I know some guys are running some Accu sumps and stuff like that.
Yeah, and those help. And I mean, my last car actually. Trailbreaker, my first Trailbreaker, I had the car up on a downhill angle for like 5 minutes, spun a rod bearing and killed it. And I actually modified the pan, made trap doors and stuff, and it helped. But there's only so much you can do with a wet sump in there.
Right.
So, I mean, you can make it better. You can do the AccuSumps thing. You can do trap doors and all that stuff. But
right.
you can only use so much. The oil is going to run to the lowest point.
Right.
So,
right.
I mean, I chop the hell out of that pan just to get a little more capacity, and then trap doors around the pickup.
Okay.
And it helped. I got a couple more minutes out of it before it started knocking. But yeah, so luckily that motor I found in someone's backyard for $300.
Oh, really?
And those were the newer 4.3s, which right now are ungodly expensive.
Yeah.
They're the Chevy 4.3 out of a newer 1500.
Okay.
Awesome little motors. But I needed something small for this car, so
yeah.
And this little motor makes more power than that 4.3 does, which is insane.
Isn't that crazy?
And
the technology,
and
man.
like at least 100 pounds lighter.
Yeah.
So this engine's like 290 pounds, 300 pounds. So they're stupid light. I mean, it's all aluminum and
you're the only one running one of these right now.
In a comp car. Yeah. Jeff Kleiben is the guy I've been wheeling with.
Okay.
He's got one in his car, dry sump.
Okay.
He's running a C4 behind his. But him and there's one other guy that I know of that's got a running car with one.
Okay.
But Steve Nance is going to build his moon buggy with one of these. So he's actually going to use one of my adapters to run the 904.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
So are you machinist or you know how to run? No.
I machine all of them
print it?
myself.
What'd you do?
So it's water jet out of 3/4 6061.
Mm-hmm.
So I did all the CAD work and stuff on it.
Okay.
And then I'll go through and final machine it.
Okay.
The machining's not a big deal. I've got a Bridgeport where I can clamp it down.
So you do have a mill and everything.
Yeah.
Okay.
So my shop's fairly set up, but I mean I don't have anything CNC.
Okay.
I probably won't ever because it's ungodly expensive.
Yeah.
And I don't think I'll ever produce enough parts to justify buying one of my own.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I've got friends in Havasu that have everything I would ever need if I ever decide to do that sort of project where there's a lot of numbers.
Okay.
Or even a one-off thing.
Mm-hmm.
So, but no, I am not a machinist.
Yeah.
I'm self-taught, and magically everything worked on the first try. Which,
well, hey.
Like all my center lines matched up, all my bolt holes lined up.
That had
wow.
to be pretty freaking stoked to that, right?
Yeah, and it hasn't killed a front pump. So
there you go.
That was my concern, is if my spacing isn't right for the converter,
right.
It can kill a pump, it can kill all sorts of stuff. It can wipe that converter out.
Yeah, on the automatic trannies, all those tolerances have to be just right.
Yeah, and it worked out, and it's been awesome so far.
Wow.
So,
wow.
Yeah.
Now, do you guys, you run a manual valve body in the transmission?
So this one's a reverse manual valve body. My last car was, I think it was just a manual.
Uh-huh.
I don't remember. Some of the, like the C4, for instance, you don't have engine braking with a reverse manual for whatever reason. I think it's the same with the 350, but with the 904s, you can run them with a reverse manual and still have engine braking.
Okay.
Which is nice.
Yes.
I mean, not that I use it a ton, but if it's like long downhills, like even off of sand dunes, I'll put it in second gear and it'll just kind of keep its speed and do its thing, which is nice. You don't have to be standing on the brakes all the time. So
yeah.
But I mean, a lot of the time people just run them in automatic. Like Charlie Vaca is one of my great friends. He's actually the guy who started this whole disaster and this snowball. I built a car for him at the same time that I built my last car.
Okay.
And he opted just for an automatic valve body, so he doesn't have to worry about it. It'll go through the gears how it wants, and it's simple for him, which is what he wants, because he's 80. He's 80 years old and still rock rolling.
Oh, whoa.
Yeah.
Right on.
He just won Grand Nationals in Sportsman A.
Okay.
So he whooped everyone. It was awesome.
That's so cool.
Yeah, so I built his car and my last trail car at the same time, so two cars. Basically the same. There's a few minor differences. So we had I built mine first, and then his car, we refined a lot of the details,
Right.
which was awesome because his car turned out a little bit better than mine, but which is perfect for him because
Sure.
he deserves it. He deserves it. He's put me on this path.
Yeah, there you go. And he put his time in.
Yeah.
So how many cars have you built over the years?
So let's see. My trail car is one. Kevin and Caitlin's,
Yeah.
Charlie's, mine. I don't know if this counts as a build, but I did a full race prep on my dad's car for KOH for 21.
Sure.
That's 5. So, yeah, that's 5. And then non-rock crawler builds, I built that Bronco, and I've got a Fox body at home I'm building too. So that's
nice.
another project.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, sweet.
I got bored this winter. I had nothing, or I was waiting on something, so I went and bought a Fox body.
Oh, there you go.
And daily drove it, and then it pissed out a water pump, so I V8 swapped it. That's my logic to
There you
get
go.
V8 in
Absolutely.
So-
yeah. Love the V8s.
there. Yeah.
Wow. Okay. So quite a few under your belt at a young age here.
Yep.
And so I got to imagine you were spinning wrenches as soon as you could with Dad
Yeah.
and learning
Yep.
in the shop. And yeah, that's kind of the way I grew up too.
Yep.
You know, it's pretty cool.
Yeah.
And then did they have? They didn't have any shop classes in high school or anything for you?
So I've been homeschooled since fourth or fifth grade.
Okay.
So
well, there you go.
So shop class was my shop.
Yes.
So I've been building all these cars, and it's been school.
See, that's perfect.
Yeah. So, and I was around when my dad built his car, which was 2010. So I was small.
His Ultra 4 car?
Yeah. Well, it's actually, it's a mix of all sorts of stuff.
Okay.
So it started as a trail car that I could ride in the back end. It was a 4-seater originally. And that's what I started competing in. It was a 4-seater trail car that was freaking huge. Didn't have great steering.
It's like a limousine.
Oh my God, it was so much fun. He built it as a trail car, just as a buggy, because he took all the parts out of that came from our old Bronco. So it had 60s and a 408 stroker, C4 Atlas. It had all the bitchin' parts. Just the body was hammered and the frame was hammered, and it was to the point where you can extend it and like the wheelbase and link it, and or just start over with a buggy.
Right.
And it got to that point where like, okay, we'll scrap it, take the title from it, and put it onto the buggy, and that's what we did.
Okay.
So built it as a trail car, wheeled it for a couple years. I started competing in it. So the first year we rock one weekend, went home, worked for the week, came back the next weekend, did Dirt Riot. When that was still around, in the same car, did not change a thing.
Perfect.
And the first Dirt Riot we did, we are shorts and T-shirts and helmets. No pumpers. We didn't even have comms between the two of us.
Really?
We were screaming at each other.
Oh my gosh.
And no GPS. It was so much fun. And so that same car that I started competing in, we raced at King of the Hammers in 2021 and finished within time. And we had one issue, and the Atlas shifters have that C-clip on them. C-clip fell out, and we didn't have any shifters. We would have been top 10 if that didn't happen.
No way.
We were making really good time. Like, we were slow in the desert, but we were whooping everyone's asses
in
in
the rocks.
Because that's where both of us are from. Yeah.
Yeah.
So my dad is, being an ex-motorcycle guy, he's much better at the desert than I am. So he took over for the first lap, and then I switched with him at Main Pit when we stopped. So I took over for the rock lap and finished out the race. I'm decent at desert these days, but I mean, he's just got a ton more experience. He knows how to read it better and all that stuff.
How many years has he been racing KOH?
We just did it once.
Okay, so last year.
Yep.
You doing it this coming year?
No. I want to. I mean, even without building a car, it's just fucking expensive.
It is crazy.
$2,000 entry fee.
Yeah.
And that's for 4,800. That's not a pro class entry.
Right.
I would really love to do it again. But if we do it, we're probably starting over with a new car.
Okay. All right.
Because of course you can't just go and do. We finished once. We're like, okay, we could do it. We got the skills and the knowledge to do it. Now we want to go be competitive.
Right.
So, and that car, it's a great car, but it's not a 4,800 competitive car.
Gotcha.
It's heavy. It's bigger than it needs to be for a 4,800 car. So,
and that class is so darn competitive, man.
Yeah, it's kind of a shame because the everyman challenge is not everyman anymore. But that's how racing is. Of course, you can start with the smaller budgets, but over time, people get more and more competitive, and more money comes into it.
Right.
So, but if we do it again, I'll build a new car for it, and I'll probably use an EcoBoost.
Okay.
Super lightweight. I think we can be like 2,800 pounds race ready.
Whew,
So
wow.
I've been throwing around the idea of portals too. Portals and 37s be a freaking riot.
Yeah. You have your clearance and
Yeah. Buy a set of Jesse's portals, and because that's legal in that class. You just need to be single shock and 37s and two-seater. That's the only thing you need for that class. So, I've thrown it around. Of course, it's more complex, more load on everything, but the money's not any different. You price out, it's about the same as a 35 spline 300M, like 9-inch set.
Okay.
But 40 spline's a little more, but I don't think I would do 40 spline because
If you're a lightweight car.
exactly, and I'm not stupid with the gas and bouncing and binding things up.
Sure.
So we raced that car that we raced is on a ball joint front end.
Okay.
So which people hate.
Yeah.
And a high pinion semi-float 60 in the rear, and it survived. It's still in there right now.
Really?
And same set of gears. The locker actually just came apart.
Okay.
A 25-year-old Detroit locker just came apart last week, and it made it all through KOH. We basically have not touched the car since then.
No kidding.
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah, and we had a blast, and of course we want to do it again. Just the funds are tough to come up with.
It is. It's hard to it's KOH. You had the experience once, but you kind of get that bug, and it's like, all right.
Yeah, I really, really want to do it again.
Yeah.
I'd start over with a new car and just start from scratch, and then you can build something that's mostly purpose built for that.
Sure.
Of course, I think I could build it in a way to where you could still go trail wheel it and have a good time.
Okay.
You may need to change shock valving and that sort of stuff a little bit, but I think there's a way you can make it trail wheel well. Especially being lightweight, I think it'll be a kick-ass little trail car.
Yeah.
Be 48 inches wide. Just small as you can be, sort
Sure.
of like these moon buggies.
Yeah.
But two-seater.
There you go.
Engine. But that's another project. So.
Well, you got plenty of years ahead of you, so you've already done a lot, and obviously what you're doing is working. So just keep trekking down that road.
Yep. I'm putting 2 chassis together. Hopefully this winter.
Okay.
Under Reeves Off Road. That's my sort of business. That's not. I just put it together for Kevin and Caitlin's car and for this car.
Okay.
And I'll do 2 chassis. Hopefully this winter. I don't have anywhere to build them right now, but I'll get them all drawn up in SolidWorks and have them CNC cut.
Okay.
Do a moon buggy chassis, something similar to Jesse's, but obviously not the same because I don't want to step on his toes.
Sure.
But just something of my own, and then I'll do a trail car chassis.
Okay.
Something that's 2 seats, super light, super narrow, and because the trail car chassis, that's a huge market.
Right.
For
sure.
You got 12 people and consistently in the unlimited class for the cone dodging stuff. So there's only so many chassis you can sell. Mm-hmm. But a lot of these guys have built them for trail wheeling, and they do pretty well. But the market's bigger for 2-seaters. So
yeah, for sure.
So I don't know what I'll be able to actually put drivetrain in them and assemble them, but it's on my radar to do hopefully this winter. So now that this car's built, I'm going to hang on to this one for a while.
Okay.
But it'll probably be up for sale here next year.
Okay.
So it'll be for sale here next year, assuming I can get a good design down and get everything together that I want, and then build it the following winter after this event next year.
All right.
So we'll just have to see.
Well, maybe we'll get Samurai James to buy it. Oh, he's already gone, but he wants a buggy. He wants a moon buggy bad. So do I. I want 4-steer as well, but I got a good buggy that works really well. It gets me down all the trails. It's got a V8. It's fun.
Yep.
So it really does a lot of things well.
There's a really fine line to where you start to get too purpose-built, and it's becoming uncomfortable.
And that's where I was headed with that. It's like, obviously you're competing at the top level, so you got to specific vehicle.
Yep.
Right. And then, for what we're doing, rec wheelers, I mean, we can go do the Rocks, Rubicon, Fordyce, stuff like that. Come out here to Trail Hero and do, 10, 11 rated trails. Okay. Yep. I was following Randy Slauson yesterday, and that got pretty Western.
Yeah.
Holy smokes, man. We got into some terrain, but it was a lot of freaking fun. And James was sitting right seat with me, and he goes, holy crap, we made it through that. And I'm like, yeah, holy crap, we made it through that.
Yeah.
But, it's fun. That's how you learn.
Yep, exactly.
You push your limits. And there was one point yesterday where I got my driver front tire, and I've got water in the front tires, so there's like 325 pounds-ish, 350 pounds of water in each tire. They're 43 stickies. And I was wedged up against the wall, and I know my vehicle. And just like, anybody that's in tune with their vehicle, it's under stress, load, whatever. Something's about to pop.
Yeah.
And I've got 300M RCVs and blah, blah, blah. I mean, everything's built to the nines, but still, you break that
It's not
shit.
impervious.
It's not impervious, exactly. It's not bulletproof. And so Randy just casually walked over to me, and he goes, hey, unlock the rear, take the rear out, just front wheel drive only. And I'm like, oh my God, yeah, you're exactly right, because the rear was pushing me into this rock, and the front was trying to climb, so let's just let the front climb. And that's, so I learned, because we're not doing this terrain every day, but anyways, it's cool. I love going out and pushing the limits too, and seeing, and you become a better driver every time you get behind that wheel and seat time.
Yep.
So, I mean, even at your level, I got to imagine when you come out here, this place is so extreme. There's got to be some trails or some areas that you practice on or anything, or
not particularly practice on, but you wander around and look for stuff that either hasn't been driven or looks stupid.
Yeah,
that's sort of the extent that I wheel out here, at least in this car. I mean, I'm at the point now where I can go drive this stupid stuff as long as I've got someone there to recover me if I get myself.
So do you call up like Jesse or some of these other guys and go, hey, let's go do some fun stuff?
If Jesse lived here, I absolutely would.
Yeah.
But Jeff Kleiben is a local.
Okay.
Mad Cow is a local. Brassanini. I know I'm missing a lot, but there's a lot of locals that play to the same level.
So you guys just get a little text going and go, hey, let's go play.
Yep. Dave Wong is actually
Wong here. Yeah.
So, and that's what's awesome here is there's tons of high league guys you can go wheel with. That's the problem in Havasu. I found insane canyons to go break, but I'm not going to go do it with just myself.
Right.
And my dad in his 4-seater.
Right.
I mean, he might be able to get his way through there, but it's not going to be pretty, and it may not come out.
Sure.
So finding those people that are on the same level with you as far as driving and really the stupidity is tough. It really is.
It is. I mean, it's crazy. It's insane. Yeah. It's blind squirrel on a straight track. It is.
Yeah,
insane.
Maybe that's why he designed it that way. I don't know if he knew if it would ever go to this level. But.
No, that's cool. And you guys rock the red, white, and blue too.
Yep.
So that's
very
a cool
patriotic
color. Yeah, very patriotic. And that's cool to see. Yeah, Brassanini's car there. He's got all red, white, and blue wrap going this year. So that thing looked awesome yesterday. So yeah, it's really, really good stuff.
Yeah, it is.
So all right. So you talked a little bit about the future of working on some more chassis and stuff. What else is kind of on your radar that I mean? Obviously, you got a car now, so you're going to be doing the full competition scene next season?
Yep, I'll more than likely be at all of them.
Okay.
There's no reason at this point why I won't be. But, things change, and but there's no reason. The fact that I've got this together now, I'll have a car to go do it.
Okay.
So I'll actually be going to Texas in November for the Top Gun shootout, which is from what I've gathered, is a trailbreaker style with a little twist. So I'll be going all the way to Mason, Texas.
Cool.
Early November. 17 hours.
Yeah.
I can't wait for that.
Man, you guys put down some road miles. These events are all across the United States, man.
The furthest we've gone is Goldendale, Washington, and Texas.
Okay.
Goldendale is 18 for my place.
Wow.
Takes you more like 19 towing a trailer.
Sure.
And K2 or Mason.
Okay.
So we've done a couple wee rocks in Mason. Last time I was there was, I can't even remember. Maybe it was 2020.
Okay.
It's been a couple years since I've been there. And then Washington, I think, was the same. But yeah, they're just. The funny story with Washington is like every year we're not going. It's too damn far.
Right.
And then the event before it, we're like a point away from getting another spot. I'm
You're like, okay, we got to go.
God damn it, we're going. And it's so frustrating because it's way the hell out there.
Sure.
And a lot of seat time, which now it's not a big deal. I've gotten used to it, but the first couple years it wasn't fun. Like
Right.
I'd get antsy, and I still get antsy, but at least I'm driving now, so I can take over and drive and keep myself content. So
yeah.
So I typically split the driving with my dad.
And the whole family goes out typically,
Yeah.
or okay, that's cool.
A couple times in Washington, my mom has not come for work or other reasons.
Mm-hmm.
Same one event or one time in Texas as well, but she flew into is it Dallas? I think that's close to
Yeah.
K2.
Okay.
And rented a car and came out so she could because we leave 2 days early. Mm-hmm. So she could work for those 2 days, fly in,
Got
and
it.
then drive back to the airport, fly out.
Support the team.
Yeah. But generally, yeah. And Charlie comes to a lot of them. He's with Blind Squirrel as well. So
Okay.
he's at a lot of them. He comes to K2, and I don't remember if he's competed in Washington, but he just joined us one time, and the three of us rode together in my dad's Freightliner FL60. It's a crew cab semi, basically.
Sweet.
And road tripped it up there. I slept in a hammock on the trees, and it was awesome. Funny story there. We pull over, middle of nowhere. I don't even remember where it was. It was early, so Mississippi, Nevada. We're looking for a place to stop for the night. It's like 3 a.m. and we're tired, and we want to go at least get a little bit of sleep. Can't find anywhere, so I put my hammock on a street sign and a mirror on the Freightliner.
No way.
And I got like 30 minutes of sleep.
Oh.
And I think everyone else did too, because there was right by a lake, so the frogs were being obnoxious and that sort of thing. It was loud.
Cars going by on the road.
Yeah.
Well, I guess it's
What's
3
funny
o'clock in the
is
morning, not so much. But
40 feet down the road, there was a campsite with trees.
oh, jeez.
So we literally could have driven another 40 feet
Just
and
didn't know it.
been awesome. But
Well, there's a hammock
whatever.
right behind you if you want to stretch it out and get
No,
real
I'm
cozy.
good. But yeah, so I camped in a hammock that time. Because that truck had a nice big bed on it, so just drive the buggy up on the back,
Yeah,
strap it
that's
down,
cool.
and you can haul ass.
That's cool.
So that setup worked awesome, but we don't have that truck anymore.
Okay.
So, they upgraded to a newer 6.7 Power Stroke.
Oh, wow.
So
Love these trucks. Yeah, that's what
Yeah,
I got.
it's awesome.
And it's they go. We were
Yeah.
just Randy Slauson and I were just talking about it because he's got a new F450.
nice.
And he's got the 10-speed. I got the 6-speed, but
Yep.
a little bit more horsepower and torque. But
Yep.
it is impressive, these
Yeah.
new trucks, what
Yep.
they do stock.
Yeah, and so my truck is a 0173.
Okay.
It's got 414,000 miles on it.
Oh boy.
It's built to the nines. It makes like mid 400s horsepower, and it's crazy compared to the new trucks. You just hammer down in these trucks. You don't got to look at anything.
No.
That truck, you're watching
You're
that
driving by
gauge.
gauges.
Yeah, and you're like, what more? And it's like you're in that danger zone. And you don't want to
So
lift.
you an automatic or stick?
Yeah, that's an auto.
Okay.
I've been throwing a 6-speed in it.
So I had a 90. What was it? 99 F350. Had the 6-speed in it. 7.3. It was a great truck.
Awesome
I
truck.
put an exhaust brake on it and stuff. So it was a tow pig. It,
Yep.
it worked really well. Had it chipped a little bit bigger turbo housing. So I did some work to it, bigger
Yep.
exhaust. But you were driving by the EGT gauge, and watching everything. And with the manual transmission, you didn't have to worry about tranny tips and stuff. But it
Yep.
was like you had the boost, you had the power. It wanted to go more, but
Yep.
the EGT started climbing up. It's like, damn it.
Yeah.
And so, and I hadn't. The only reason why I sold that truck is because I jumped in one of these new ones.
Yep.
And I'm like, oh my gosh. And I was getting older, and I'm like, I want an automatic. I
Yep.
love stick shift. I love driving stick shifts, but in the Bay Area and stop-go traffic and towing, it's just the automatics are
It's so
great.
nice. Yeah.
And then, so this truck is bone stock. I didn't chip it, didn't have to do anything to it, and I don't have to worry about gauges.
Yep, it's pretty nice.
So it is nice. The trannies run hotter than I like, 230 degrees climbing a grade, and stuff.
I'm like, well, there's no alarm, so I'm just going to hammer down.
No, and the gauge is happy. It's in the middle, there's no warning lights going off, and you read all the forums on these trucks, and they say, oh, no, that's fine. I tow, this fifth wheel with 16,000 pounds on it through Texas in the middle of summer, and we just run it all day that way. And I'm like, all right, just send it.
The tech these days is crazy with these trucks.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a 21 Super Duty is making almost 500 horse out of the box.
Right.
And over 1,000 foot-pounds torque. It's insane. And still, somehow, EPA still approves it. Something to do with DEF, I guess.
Right. That's, it hurts our mileage a little bit, too. But I was getting 11 out here from our, drive. But
it could be worse.
It's comfortable, and it works, and it's, effortless damn near. So I'm all, whatever. It is what it is.
Yep.
And we could go on a whole different political tangent on fuel prices.
Right.
So I'm from California. And I paid $5.99 for diesel, a gallon. That was cheap. Because we were paying $6.50, $6.85 for a gallon of diesel out there. And we crossed the border, get into Nevada, get out of Las Vegas, and it was like $4.59.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, it's cheaper to make diesel here apparently than in California. No, it's so bullshit. All the taxes and stuff on it. Anyways, so Arizona. See, you're born and raised in Arizona.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're actually right on the border of California.
Okay, you're right
So
there.
live on Lake Havasu. It's a huge lake, and right across the lake is California. You can see it, unfortunately.
Yeah, well, that's all right. You don't live in it, so you got
exactly.
that. Hey, it's a beautiful place. I was born and raised
it
there.
is.
I love it, and we've got everything, but just it's financially difficult to live there.
Yeah, I couldn't do it.
No,
I couldn't do it.
No.
I got rock crawlers to build.
Yeah, exactly. Well said.
Yep.
So you get into any water sports at all on Lake Havasu?
I can water ski, wakeboard, all that stuff. Not super into it.
Okay.
I'll do it if someone goes out and I'm decently good at it. But not really my thing. I'm decently good at it, like I said, but it's not really up my alley, especially because I work all summer, so we don't go out a ton. But my extended family is out there quite a bit, so I'll spend a weekend with them out on the boat, and they've got kids that wakeboard and ski and all that stuff.
Gotcha.
So.
I don't know. I just, for some reason, saw you on like a old stand-up, souped-up jet ski out there.
No, we used to have one. It's been gone for a while. But,
okay.
I've been into bikes since I was a kid. Mm-hmm. That's been my thing, and crawlers, or wheels in general.
Yeah.
All sorts of motorsports.
Yeah, anything
stuff.
with motors and wheels.
Yeah. Yeah, so BMX growing up was my thing, racing, and then going to freestyle when I was, 10.
Wow.
So that's what I did most of my time with, and then as I got older, got more busy, got more things to do, and I still love to do it, I just don't do it as much.
Yeah,
So, but it's still a good time, and my friends still do it, which is awesome. I still got people to ride with, so.
That's cool.
Yeah, so it's a good time.
Right on. So the shop is a full-time gig for you, running your...
Not right now.
Okay.
Not right now.
Okay.
So we're in the process of moving up here. So
really?
Yeah. So I'm not even looking for work for that right now because I don't have anywhere to do it this winter, which is kind of perfect. I can get my chassis designs banged out, but it's not full time as far as paying work. But eventually, I think it will be. I've already had some people have some interest in building a V8 swap Jeep, and actually Corey Seacrest from Miracle Trust reached out to me and said we're interested to do that, and we are just not right now. So
gotcha.
We've got to put up a place here to get all our tools. And
so I saw you got a big Miracle Trust sticker on the hood there.
Yep.
So he's one of your supporters.
Yep. So we met him at KOH 2020 racing with Damon Hopper in the OG 427 car.
Okay.
And I was pit boss with him, and my dad was co-driver for Damon.
Okay.
And so that's where we met Corey. Then the year after that, we raced, and he was a supporter for KOH, too.
Cool.
So he reached out when I was building this car, because I was making posts here and there. He's like,
sure.
What's it going to take to get a prime real estate sticker, hood, or roof? I don't remember what he asked at that point. But and we worked out a deal, and he's awesome to work with. We love Corey.
Right.
And so we once my parents get their property wherever they end up, they're going to put up a Miracle Trust building.
There you go.
For storage or shop
Nice
or
shop.
both. Or
Absolutely.
And it's really awesome. They've got some really cool buildings. They can do. I'm pretty sure they can do custom builds too. So it's not
they
just
can.
generic.
Yeah, because I've been looking into it because I met him last year out here.
Yep.
At
he was here.
Trail Hero and went on the Milt's Mile Miracle Trust run
Yep.
with him and Ian Johnson and stuff. And Ian obviously built Big Tire Garage. And Miracle Trust was the choice there for the building structure. And anyways, it was cool chatting it up with him.
He's awesome.
So I've been looking at places in Nevada that didn't have shops, and it's like, okay, what can you guys do for me? So
Right.
Very cool. That's cool. So you want to talk about some of your other sponsors that because this stuff ain't cheap, and you can't do it without the help from some people. So
I got a lot of support, and I'm still broke. So that says a lot.
Yeah. Well, that's welcome to racing. Welcome to any motorsport. There.
Hold on,
Jacob.
I need to pull up a photo of my side panel.
That's perfect.
See if I've got something handy here.
It's super cool. I mean, these we call them partnerships. People that, and it's cool that like somebody like Corey from Miracle Dress reached out to you,
which is rare for a company to reach out,
right?
Typically, like
you're the other way around. You're banging on the door, and you're like, "Hey, I got this kind of rock crawler thing going on. Are you interested?
You want to give
in
me
helping
money
me out?
for a sticker?
Yeah.
Which is hard for me to do because I don't like asking for help.
Yeah,
but I do, and it works out majority of the time. So, but yeah, so. My sponsors, Bubba Rope, they're synthetic rope out of Florida.
Nice.
Awesome product. I love their stuff. Yukon Gear and Axle, Fig Speed. That's all the plumbing on that car came from Fig Speed.
Really?
Gauges. They've got tons of wiring, plumbing, gauges, like all that specialty stuff that makes a car awesome. They've got all of that.
Okay.
So all in one place, which is awesome.
One-stop shop.
Yeah. So
I like that.
All of the plumbing on that car is from him.
Okay.
Which is awesome. So PRP, Raceline Wheels, Wilwood Disc Brakes, Instant's Customs, that's my parents. Goat Built, Jesse Haynes Fab, D'Reilly, Miracle Truss, obviously.
Yep.
I'm probably missing a few.
You got most, but you got your shirt there too. I think you're.
This is an old shirt.
Oh, it's an old shirt.
This is from KOH. Yeah.
Okay, there you
Warren
go.
Industries.
Yeah, good old Warren there.
Radflow, we're a dealer, and they give us great prices on these shocks. And
Great.
That's what we run on everything. We love them.
Yeah.
And Glenn from Radflow is an awesome dude. Great customer service.
Yeah.
So, which is hard to get out of some of these bigger companies. So I prefer to go with the smaller guy, and their products are right there with King and Fox and all the big guys.
Yeah.
So I mean, I love to support the little guy, and being able to get a hold of someone, and if you've got a warranty issue or ordering, even can be a pain in the ass with other people.
Yeah.
So it's awesome to support the small guys.
That's cool.
So, it's awesome.
Right on, man. Well, that's well, you've already made a name for yourself. Wish you the best of luck tomorrow.
Thank you.
In Trailbreaker. We're our camp here of like 60 people will be cheering you on for sure.
Nice.
Yeah, it's so much fun to watch. It's one of the highlights of my week here at Trail Hero. Watching that go down, and you guys pushing the limits so far, and it's super fun to watch as a spectator. So
it's getting pretty crazy.
Yeah.
Like, we're at the point now, and this was said by Jeff Kleiman, friend of mine that I've been wheeling with. We're at the point where the cars are at a point now, and drivers as well, that to get the obstacles we need, we're going up stupid stuff into super high consequence. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, we're kind of, not that we're running out of the smaller stuff, but it's just not, to get that excitement, you got to go big.
Yeah.
And it's just crazy these days last 5 years, you look at the progression of cars, it's insane. It's exploded.
It has.
I mean, I've been in it for this will be my 7th season coming up.
Okay.
And, I mean, I remember my first event. It was mostly like the old school drag axle moon buggies. That was majority, and Jesse had just released Prickle.
Okay, that's right.
And the first-gen portals that he had figured out. Mm-hmm. And that was the game changer. That was the game changer car for, at a minimum, cone dodging. Mm-hmm. And it's trickled over into trail cars and trailbreaker style events.
Sure.
And it's really awesome.
Well, that's cool, man. Well, looking forward to that. Good luck getting out here. This will be your backyard then pretty soon, hopefully.
Yeah,
huh?
I'm really excited.
Wow.
Much as I love Arizona, I'm over the summers.
Yeah, it's so
this
hot.
summer kicked my ass.
Yeah.
I'm in a swamp-cooled shop, so
Yeah.
And we had a huge monsoon season, so it was humid too. So it was just miserable.
Yeah.
It wasn't great.
See, that's the one good thing California has: really good weather.
Yeah.
I've traveled a lot, and I keep coming back to California, and I'm like, man, we've got the best freaking weather.
Yeah, you guys do. I gotta say
so
that.
got that going for us. But
Yep.
yeah, it's I don't know if it's worth all the expense of everything else. But,
Right. I mean, you gotta pick your battles.
You
there.
do. But I do love it here. This is unique. I really, really love Sierra Nevada wheeling, you know, the Rubicon, Fordyce, stuff like that, Barrett Lake. But this is so unique and so much fun. And there's, oh my gosh, so much crazy terrain out here to conquer. So it's the world is your oyster out here. So.
Yeah, there's really nothing like it.
No, there isn't.
I mean, you can offload and you're 10 minutes to some of the nastiest stuff on this side of the country, or maybe this country in general.
Yeah.
I mean, I've never wheeled East Coast, but I've heard there's some good stuff over there.
Sure.
But I'd give it the run of best in the country.
Yeah.
And you got places like Johnson Valley has some nasty stuff too. The shame with that is the race has plowed over some of the big trail or the main trails, so it's really just rocks.
It is,
and that's it.
There's some. Those trails have changed so much over the years.
Like I was reminiscing the other day. I've got some of the original KOH movies.
Yeah.
And Chocolate Thunder used to be a big trail, and now you can drive it on like 37s.
So cool story. Last year when it was dumping rain, we all rushed back to camp, and Mr. Slauson over here, 3-time king, we were watching old KOH movies in his camper with 3-time king, and it was so much fun with just watching the old cars and the race itself and spectators getting close, and it's like, oh my gosh, how much it's changed in those years. But that's all good stuff. How do people look you up, Jacob? The IGs, the whatever you got, social media going on.
I've got Facebook, Facebook and Instagram. Facebook is Reeves Off Road and Blind Squirrel Racing. Pretty simple. Same with Instagram. My personal Facebook is just Jacob Reeves.
Okay.
My personal Instagram is BMX Reeves, which I hardly post on.
Right.
Like I think I did one post in this entire year.
Okay, there you go. There you go.
But most of my activity is on Reeves Off Road right now, building this car.
Okay.
And stuff going forward. I've got some ideas I want to start working towards. So I'll be making some posts and some cool stuff. So, but I'm not big on social media.
Okay.
I make posts here and there to update people what's going on, but that's about it.
Okay.
So,
well, that's
pretty
good.
simple.
Well, we like to see the pictures when you do it.
Okay.
So,
absolutely.
Very cool. Well, any final thoughts? Anything going into competition tomorrow?
I don't know. I don't want to die.
No, don't die.
Don't die. Don't suck.
Don't die. Don't suck. Those are two good, very, very good things to live by there, literally.
Yep.
Good luck, man. Great. Thank you. I know we've been trying to do this for at least over a year now.
Yeah, you gave me your card.
I did last year.
It'll be a year this Saturday.
You're right. See, look, and we made it happen.
I don't know how I remembered that.
There you go. Very good. Very good. Yes.
Yeah, it only took us a year to get around.
Hey, it happens. It happens. But I'm glad we got to do it in person here at Trail Hero 2022. Thank you so much for your time, Jacob, and insight. And wish you the best of luck tomorrow, man.
Awesome. Thank you.
All right. Take care.
Yeah, you too.
Bye. And there's our interview with Jacob Reeves. Finally.
I still wasn't there.
Yeah, you weren't. So just cool. He built a car, new to him recently here. He took a Jesse Haynes chassis that he put together, and he put this cool freaking Mustang, modern little freaking snapper little engine with a turbo, the whoop-house there, and making it work, and it's you look at these moon buggies and how everybody's got their own little thing,
their secret sauce,
but this, for him to be as young as he is and as adept of a driver as he is at this age, I cannot wait to see him in a few years with some more experience under his belt. not only experience as driving, but experience in fabrication.
Sure.
And not to discount what he's done already, because he's years above, a lot of people in the sport of, manufacturing and coming up with these, ideas. And it's cool. It's just fun to watch. The technicality is on high of driving and what they're putting these machines through and themselves through to get through these trail breaker courses. And it's cool to get some insight from him of what his view is of the sport and his fabrication and everything. So very cool. Sit down with Jacob there and hear his story.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, freaking awesome. Unfortunately, he had a break during Trail Breaker.
Right.
They
push those rigs to the limit.
Well,
man.
Only one person finished, as we said. Dave
Right.
finished, and
Even
nobody else.
Jesse
finished
Haynes
the course.
didn't even finish.
No, I mean you got the world's best there,
Yep.
and he had a mechanical something with a locker, I know it's you prepare for this all year. And just so disheartening when you get there and you're physically ready, you're mentally ready, you've got your car as ready as you think it's ready to be, and then some stupid little something, it's that story that we hear over and over again at King of the Hammers, all these high-level competition events in this off-road sport, that some little 10-cent part can take you out of the competition.
Some of these parts can be pretty expensive.
Well, there's some $10 million parts too if you're Cody Wagner.
They're pushing these rigs to the limit. I mean, the forces that are involved are extreme.
Oh, for sure. But anyways, it's just it's so cool, to be involved with this and be in the, be able to talk to these individuals that are competing at this level, because, I'm out there just doing some wreck wheeling at Trail Hero and wreck wheeling with some pretty crazy people that have no fear of gravity, apparently.
Crazy Dan,
Randy Slauson, Wrecked Gear. I could go on and on, but anyways, it's fun.
Dave Wong.
Dave Wong, it's fun. Kimberly Blake, she doesn't care about gravity. So anyways,
but gravity still exists.
Gravity does exist. Gravity does exist.
You can only defy it for so long.
It rears its ugly head once in a while. But you get a feel as you're doing these trails that I view as extreme, and these people that are competing at that level in their moon buggy, it's like, walk in the park. What we're doing that we think is extreme, and what they're doing is just like unfathomable. So
they're still nervous and have butterflies.
They're still people and all that. But anyways, Jacob Reeves, remember that name, because that is going to be somebody that we're going to be interviewing again and hearing about in the future, that's just continuing to kick ass.
Sure.
He's in it to win it. He has a passion, a desire, and a drive to push the limits, and that's what puts these individuals on that level. And it's just, as a spectator and a fan of the sport, it's just so freaking cool to watch. So and just to see what they come up with next and how they're going to conquer the next crazy obstacle that Rich Klein's going to come up with at Trail Breaker and Trail Hero. So,
well, I mean, not just Trail Hero, but all the other, we rock events that are happening around the
and this is, if it hasn't already, Trail Breaker at Trail Hero is the epitome, the number one, the apex, if you will, of the sport.
The pinnacle.
The pinnacle. That's a good word. Pinnacle. Nice job, Chris.
Hey, I come up with words every once in a while.
Did Lorenzo whisper that into your ear, or was that?
He actually hit me across the forehead.
He did, okay, with the hoof. That's why you got that hoof mark on your forehead. Okay. Anyways, so I hope you enjoyed the interview. I did enjoy it. It is great to sit down with Jacob and hear, what the thoughts that are going through his head and putting a car together and how he drives the course and everything. So,
yep, absolutely.
Super freaking good stuff.
Yeehaw.
Yeehaw.
No,
or hee-haw.
Not hee-haw.
Oh.
Yeehaw.
Okay.
Right on. Well, super cool. Best of luck to you next year, Jacob. Hopefully everything works out.
Yeah,
for you.
Chris will be there in person next year, 2023 Trail Hero
That's my goal.
To cheer you on.
One way or another, I'll be there if I have to ride Lorenzo down there.
Oh, wow. Lorenzo's not excited about that.
He's a pack mule, right? I don't know.
Yeah, but he's got a weight rating too, man. So I don't know.
Fuck you.
All right. With that,
all right. Well,
how do they get a hold of us?
Well, you can email us at Jason, Chris, or Skinny Lorenzo.
I got your back, Lorenzo. Literally, I got your back.
At Wheeling
Trying to save your back.
Whiskey.com. You can also get us on the IG at Wheeling Wine Whiskey. Don't forget about our website, www.wheelingwinewhiskey.com, where you can see all of our past episodes and, of course, links to some very important things like Irate 4x4, our merchandise link where you'll find our Element fire extinguishers.
Oh, nice.
And Jason will like to talk about that for a second.
The Element fire extinguisher. Yes, everybody should have one. If you don't know about them, check it out. Go on to elementfire.com and check it out. But
hell yeah.
Yeah, we just love to promote products that we believe in. We thoroughly back this product.
Yep.
And so much so that we've invested into buying a bunch of these and getting them out there to our four-wheeling friends. So
spread the love.
There is a little bit of a discount out there. If you know the code, you know. If you don't know, you need to get a hold of Lorenzo.
That's right.
At Wheeling Wine and Whiskey on the IG, and maybe he'll share how to get a little bit of a discount on the Element fire extinguisher.
That's right. DM him at Wheeling Wine and Whiskey on the IG.
So he has been taking over the IG lately, which is good. He's starting to step up to the plate a little more.
Well,
which
that's a giant ass keyboard.
It is a giant ass keyboard. You're absolutely right, and it is hoof friendly.
That's right. You can beat the shit out of that thing, and it's fine.
His spelling's pretty good, actually.
You can even hose it down with a pressure washer.
Yeah, you can.
Donkeys sometimes have accidents.
That's right. Wow.
You can also leave a voice message with us at
408
800 5169.
5169. That's right. 408 800 5169. Leave us a voicemail. Lorenzo may or may not answer.
He probably won't answer.
He won't answer. He sleeps a lot during the day.
His little cage.
Yeah.
So,
but anyways, I think that's all we got, Chris.
That's all I got.
All right.
We're out.